Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is this lesson 9, advanced compositioning. And I'm going to open up that. Actually, I don't want to open up Photoshop yet because it's going to close on me. But this is a long project. You actually have, if I scroll down here, this was going to end up looking like. Um, and there's a lot, one, two, three, four. There's a lot of different files in here. I tried to get it so that you guys could not have to use Bridge, and you can't. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this started and have you do the part after this. So just so you can see it. So it says File, Browse, and Bridge. I have Bridge open, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to browse and Bridge and basically find all that stuff. So in case you're wondering why I'm dressed like this before, let's just go ahead and look down at this date here. It's Friday, October 31st. So this is why I look the way I do, just in case you're wondering. So we'll continue. Pretty good day to do a monster project, isn't it? So I thought it might work out. So let's going to go ahead and I'm going to open up all that stuff that was in lesson 9. So they're talking about this monster makeup here. And this stuff in here, if we look, it says go ahead and select all of it. And they want us to browse and bridge, and they want us to go ahead and import all of these into the working. So I'm going to go to Tools, Photoshop, Load Files into Photoshop. So I'm going to go to Tools, I'm going to go to Photoshop, and I'm going to import them into Photoshop here. So opening up my Photoshop, it should take all 8 of those PSDs and put them in a Photoshop for me. Okay, it's loading. Let me let it load. Okay, it looks like it loaded all of them, and I have them all right here in this Photoshop. So if we go here and it says load files in Photoshop and close any messages for new features, we're here. So this is the 9 working PSD. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this, save as, and I am going to save this one as the 9 working, and this is basically the file that you just downloaded. I just wanted to save you this bridge trouble so you didn't have to worry about that. Other than here, you're going to start here with me. All right, so let me shift this over and let us continue. Now that we have all these little goodies here. They want us to arrange all the layers, so they're not necessarily in the right things to zoom out or scroll out so you can see the entire thing. Remember, you can do Control and or Alt and your scroller bar, or I like to do Control 0 or View Fit on screen. That's why I did Control 0. So now I can see everything. I can see all my stuff. Saved it. So you have the working. So we're going to go ahead and arrange these layers. So we're going to zoom out. And then now in the layers, drag the monster hair to the top of the stack. So monster hair, they want it all the way to the top. They drag the Franken layer to the bottom. Okay. And then select the move tool and then drag the Franken layer, the image of the person, to the bottom of the canvas. So they want just to grab the move tool, and then they want the guy. They want him here at the bottom of the canvas. And then the layers panel, shift click every layer except Franken and edit treats for free transform. So this is important because you want it to basically resize all at the same proportion. So I'm going to hold shift. See, and you can tell I held shift. All of these are selected. If I'll show you again, held the first one, held shift, grab this, all of them are selected. So now I can basically transform all of them at the same time. I am going to edit free transform. And now I can transform every single one of them. So they want all of these to be 50% of their size. I can make my life easier up here and take a percentage and day 50. And everything is 50%. Now, of course, if you accidentally chose one, you're going to have to do this manually to all of them. So it was helpful to have chosen all of them and resize all of them at the same time. That was the whole point of that. So with the free transform still, position the layers over and then press enter to commit. Okay, so I have all this stuff and they said put it kind of over his face and then hit enter to commit. I hit enter. I committed. So zoom in so you can see his head clearly. I'm going to hold Alt and scroll in with my little scroll wheel so I can basically see what I'm working with here. Hide all the layers except for the green skin texture. So this is the green skin texture. I'm going to hide the rest of these here so that only the green skin texture is there. And then I'm going to use the move tool to center it over. So I have the move, and I'm going to move this so that I kind of have it right over his face. I'm even going to use my arrow keys to kind of center it so it's right over his head. And then I'm going to choose Edit Free Transform again to basically make it so that it fits better. So I already have the transform open, but if you didn't, you could do Edit Transform. And you just want to basically make sure that it fits where his face is. You don't want it to look off or dumb. Okay? It wants us to save the file. So we're going to go ahead and file save. Okay, next thing we're going to do is when you apply a filter, we're going to use a liquify. So make sure the green skin texture layer is selected. Green skin. Let's find green skin. Okay, I already had green skin. And they now want us to filter, convert for smart filters, and then make it okay. So we're going to go to filter, convert to smart filter. Okay. Filter liquify. Okay. Whoa. In the liquify dialog box, if the face aware option is expanded, click the disclosure triangle next to it. So what were they talking about with that? In the face aware, this thing, they said if it's expanded, okay, click the triangle to make it smaller. Okay. I'm going to move this over again so I can see. All right, select the show backdrop. Oh no, it says you've already done that. I think we're done. Oh, okay. I mean, we could, they're basically, you can tweak things if you want. I'm not going to make you tweak anything. I'm just going to basically keep that as is. And then now they want us to select show backdrop. So we're showing what's going on here in the back. They want then choose behind from the mode menu. So mode menu, let's find that mode menu. They want behind. And now they want the opacity at 75%. So we could use the slider here, or you could have typed it in. And then in the zoom on the left side, zoom into the eye area. I held Alt and I zoomed in, right? I'm looking at his eyes. And then with the warp forward tool, which is the first tool, let's find that warp. It looks like a little finger thingy. So I grab that. And it pushes pixels forward as you drag. So in the brush tool option, set the size to 150. Brush tool size, 150. And the pressure to 75. With the forward, okay, I'm still holding that one. Pull the monster's right eyebrow down to close the eye opening. So his is right. They want me to go like that to basically close it. I mean, I'm purposely exaggerating. But if you can, let me go back. You can see how they say close it up. And then pull from up under the eye to close. Wait, no, I don't like that. Close that one up. Repeat it for the left. Okay, so I'm going to kind of shape that up so it fits better. And I'm just hitting Control Z in case you're wondering what I'm doing. That kind of pulls it a little bit closer so that it looks where his eye is. All right, because you've applied the liquify, you can freely move it and it changes it without using the quality. So it's a way of kind of like editing the image without damaging the stuff around it. So we're going to now we're going to position the other layers here. All right, so we're done and I'm going to hit OK. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save just in case. And now I'm going to make the green nose stitches layer visible and select in the layers panel. Okay, green nose stitches, visible, and then select it. It's selected. Choose Edit Free Transform. I already have Edit Free Transform open. And then position it over his nose. Okay. And then repeat this process with the rest of the layers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Perfect, I saved, but it passes for now. And then we're going to get to the edit smart filters, but I got to be right back. All right, let's continue. So now we get to do the fun thing called double click the liquify under the smart filters. The green skin text layer. So we got the green skin. They want us to double click on the smart. I double clicked. Okay, something probably happened. It opens up all the layers. Sometimes it's easier. You zoom in for the eyes more closely. All right, let me make sure I got that. Okay, I did. Zoom in to see the eyes. It says it's supposed to open the liquify box again. Mine's not opening a liquify. I clicked that, so if that's you, and that's probably what that is. I'm going to zoom in now and look at his eyes again. Select the pucker tool, pucker up. All right, so the pucker tool's in the panel on the outer corner of each eye. So let's find that pucker. There it is, pucker tool. And center and hold and click and drag and select the bloat tool. So we're probably, ooh, this like pinches it in. Wow, it pinches it in hard, like a pinch. So I guess you could do that to make it a little bit more squinty so we can kind of take away part of where his skin color was to kind of let it fit his eye a little bit better. You experiment with it. When you're happy, you click OK. All right. Now, after we did that, we're going to paint a layer. So select the Franken layer, the dude, the one with the dude. And now we're going to hit new layer. And when you, whatever selected and you hit new, it goes a new layer right above it. And they want us to choose the color from the blending mode. So we have up here the modes. They want us to choose color. So I'm going to go ahead. I chose color. And it's a good blending mode to use color monochrome when you're tinting stuff. Okay. So in the tools panel, select the brush tool. All right, so I got the brush tool over here. And in the option 60, so up here, we're gonna want it to be 60. So I can't really see all of that. I'm gonna pull it out. So the pixel brush is of 60. 60 pixel brush with a hardness of 0. Hold down Alt to temporarily switch the eyedropper tool as you click the forehead to sample the green. So let's say I want this green color. They're saying if you hold Alt, you can sample that color and easily suck up whatever color's on that canvas. So now I have the green brush here, or greenish, brownish, whatever you want to call it. And now what we're going to do is control click the thumbnail of the thing to select its content. So control click. And this is the contents here, which is also his hand. Make sure layer 1 is still selected. It is. I see it there. And then you can paint his hands now so it matches the color. So now that we have the color of his face, they're saying go ahead and start painting his hands. So the more I did it, the more the color kind of looked washed out. So I'm going to try to do it like in one. All right, so let's go here. So I'm holding down the click as I'm doing this. But you want to, if you saw where I kind of messed up, you want to be careful not to bleed over here, or else you'll get too much of like his shirt and it'll look dumb. Paint this other one here. Paint any areas of the face or neck where their skin color is still visible. So these little areas here, let's get those. Let's get the lip and the nose so it kind of changed that color around. All right, select, deselect. And now we have him that color. All right, now we're going to add in this background. You know what? Now we're going to add in this background here. So now that we're done, we're going to basically move it in there. So make sure all the layers are visible. They are. And then choose layer merge visible. So layer merge visible. I basically took it all and flattened it out. We're going to do file open. We're going to open that backdrop. So we're going to open up this one that we had before that was just the background. And now the window arrange two up. So window arrange the two up. And we're going to basically drag this over. So we're going to grab this move tool here, grab the guy and move him right over. Now we don't need this anymore. It says close it. Yep. Saving change. I guess you could have saved it. I didn't. And then here we're going to file save as this one. So now that we place this about here, they said we're going to file and save it as movie poster. So save as movie poster dot ESD. All right. Okay, using the history panel to undo edits. You've used undo and you use redo. They're just showing you other little ways to do that. So in Photoshop, file open, and we're going to double click the T1. All right, so this is good for now, but now we have to do the tombstone. So file open, the T1, tombstone 1, I guess. And it says if an embedded, mine didn't. Okay. All right, it's plain, but I'm going to go ahead and control click this. That selects this, and I'm going to go ahead and do the filter, render difference clouds. It puts a cloud over this, which is exactly what we want. And all right, in the tools panel, select the adjustment brush tool. So if you look under the blur right around here, you can hover over, it'll show you the adjustment brush tool. They want it to be a size of 300. So all up here, we can manually put, I think mine was down here. You could manually just go like that. I find that easier. And then in the options bar, they want you to choose, in the adjustment menu, choose levels. So up here, they want you to choose levels. You're going to adjust these levels here. And then it wants you to drag it to paint a few irregular strokes over the top middle. So like that and that. That created something. I mean, I don't see that. Oh, I see it. It did a little bit of something, not a lot. Levels. There we go. I mean, I guess. Drag the brushman tool to paint a few regular, okay, coming through as if the moonlight is going through the trees. Okay, I see why they did that. And then the properties panel, drag the black point to 0. So this is the black point here. They want that to be at 0. So let's put that at 0. And then the mid-tone, they want 1.3. And then in the properties, choose the RGB and choose red. So properties, RGB, red. And then drag the midpoint gray to 0.0. So now they want this midpoint to be they're being really particular here. 0.07. I'm sorry, 70. Then choose the green. And within the green, they want the midpoint to be the point 0 or 0.80. Now it's looking bluish to me. And it looks a little spookier, like a moonlight. I mean, I guess if that's what they say. In the contextual, add a new adjustment layer and put color balance. Okay, in the textual, a new adjustment layer and call it a color balance. I don't see my a contextual taskbar right now, so I'm going to go contextual taskbar. Okay, so for some reason your little contextual taskbar is not there and it's giving you grief. window, contextual taskbar. So he's gone, it's back. So in case yours isn't there. So let us continue back to these adjustments and balances on the levels, right? They want me to add a new adjustment over here. So we're going to add that new adjustment. It wants the color, it says add new and choose color balance. So color balance, okay? So it's basically added that right here. And add a second adjustment layer named color balance 1. Okay, I'm sorry. Add new color and paint over the word rip. Okay. Now it appears more blue when you paint. Okay, it did. Now in it again, add a color balance and paint over the word. Add a second adjustment layer named color balance 1 in the layers. So we did that. Okay. Adding it doesn't improve the look. You'll soon decide how far back. Okay, so they wanted you to do all this so that you could go back and save a previous point in which, like, let's say you're like, I really don't like this. I want to go back to the point in which I only had the filter render clouds. So if your history panel isn't already open, you're going to go to the window and you're going to find where it has history. Here's all the history of everything that we did today. And then it says, click on the difference cloud state, which is that one. And we basically go right back to that point. So all that extra blue thing that you did, unfortunately, was done for nothing. But not really. Now you know you can go back to a point instead of Control Z, Control Shift Z. So that's something that's good. So then click the modify level areas state in the history panel. So actually click here. That's about where they wanted it. So good thing you did do this. And when we're done with that, now you'll return to the beginning and apply different effects to the tombstone. So basically went here, we didn't like that stuff. They said we're going to go back to this state here. So now in the adjustments brush step, that's right before that, layer, merge, visible, and name it. So layer, merge, visible. And they want us to name this tombstone. Filter noise, add noise. Okay. Filter noise. Add noise. Ooh, it makes it all grainy, pixelated. And then in the noise, set it to 3%. Okay, we don't want it that much. And select monochromatic. Right. Now it states, the states that were dimmed after you selected are no longer in that history and replaced by what you just did. So it basically, if you look at this history, it overwrote what you did from that point we selected. So that's the whole point of this lesson here, is to show you that history in case when you're working on big projects, you did something in the last 10 minutes you don't like, you can go back to the history and set back a point in which where you were to leave off rather than Control Z and you might get messed up. Okay, it states they were dimmed. Okay, so now window arrange tile vertical. So window, arrange, tile vertical. You wouldn't have all of these. It's only me who does. So I have these two. If I pull it over, you'd be able to see the window. All right, this is kind of what your window vertical should look like. All right, I have the two windows here. It says drag the tombstone to the bottom left with the top third of it showing. So drag this tombstone to the bottom left with the top of it still showing. Got it? File, save as. Okay, so here are the other ones. They want this one around right there, probably. So now it looks like that. So now that we have the tombstone layer here, we're good. Now we get to do these people here. So we're going to choose File, Open to navigate to lesson 9 and import those faces. People. So open the brushes, the faces. All right. So now I have these silly looking faces here. Zoom in 300% so you can see them and see all the pixels that are associated. It's a very low quality image. All right, filter, neutral filters. Well, okay, so filter, neutral filters. All righty. Now we have a bunch of stuff over here. If a welcome, which mine did, skip. All right, with all of them, click on the super zoom. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, in the super zoom, to enable, if the filter's not loaded in the panel, right click download. Okay, mine's loaded. Mine's fine. On the bottom of the neutral filters, make sure that the output menu is set to new document. Output menu down here is a new document, correct. Under the super zoom preview on the right, click the zoom icon. So this here, until the label next to it says zoom at 3 at 3. This is the label next to it that now says 3 times. Notice that the resolution on the preview improves. So this is AI improving your pixelated image that you took that was otherwise kind of crappy in the beginning. Make sure your enhance image details, remove JPEG artifacts, and enhance face are selected and set noise reduction to 3. Okay, noise reduction needs to be at 3. And they want the enhance and the remove JPEG artifacts. So we should be good here. Click on the show original button to see the image before you opened it. So that would be this right here. That's the original. That's now. That's the original. You can see it changing. That's now. It cleaned it up by like a lot. So that's pretty handy. All right, click OK, and the super zoom creates a new untitled document tab with the results. So now it's a bigger image. So we're using AI here to kind of help us out. All right, here it is, layer 2. Click OK. So now we have this better looking photo. Select all, choose edit copy. Select all, edit, copy. Now we're going to go to the movie poster tab, right? So on the same one as the tombstone that I should have named, edit, paste special. Okay, so what we're doing, let's grab this. We want that feather to be 50. What they mean about that feather being 50, so I want you to think about a thing here, right? So when you paste that, it's going to create like a hard edge around this. So all the feather does is gives it a nice blend look. And the blend look makes it so it kind of flows from this point here to the out. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that now. So I drew the oval, right? And then above the monster's head, make sure it's layer and then edit paste special. So edit, and there should be a paste special. If the paste profile match, click OK. So we're going to paste special, paste into. So we're pasting the faces that we edited in the other one into the circle that we just created that has a feather or bleed area of about 50%. So let's see how that looks. All right. So if we didn't have that bleed area, what would happen is you see this fade here, it wouldn't be there. It would just be like a hard line edge, like a hard line edge is here. So that's the whole reason we put that. If yours looks weird, it's because you didn't put the 50% feathering. Okay, so make sure that the layer selected edit paste. We got that. Select the move tool and center it. Okay, so now I'm going to see what's nice is I can kind of move this around within it. It still has that area because you see it's masked. If you guys are familiar with masks here, it's still masked over here. You're just moving it within that mask. That's how that works. So that's how mine looks right here. And then they want the opacity slider to 50. So let's go ahead and make them kind of see through like they're ghostly. And that's how we made it look like it blended in with a ghostly effect. I should have chose luminosity. So that's the only little tidbit I missed. So after I have the luminosity, this thing is pretty much done, but that doesn't mean that you guys are done. I need you to add something. So what I have in one of the previous school assignments is from the creepy director, and you're going to put your name here. That's how I know you completed it. So your things you would have done to complete this assignment, you did the head and you put all the little pieces on him. You changed his skin color so it matched using that eyedropper. Then you opened up that tombstone and you gave it all those cool little adjustments and blending and little moonlight looking things. And then you pasted that in here. So I'm looking for that one here. Then you open up the faces and you used the AI tool thing to kind of enhance it and make it a larger picture. So it's not a crappy looking pixelated one. You did an elliptical marquee here that's like an oval. And then you pasted the special. So you pasted what you had in that. And then you made sure you had a feather. And you obviously changed that mode here to luminosity. So it's a little see-through. So of course, now the last thing I want you to do for my people here, position it, move it around, make it look like it would be a movie poster. And I want you to grab that type tool and from the creepy director, your name. So I'm going to go ahead and move that into place, resize it, and you're going to give it a blending effect. So remember, I can right click blending options. I can also press effects here and get the same type of thing. And go to blending options here. I just want it to not look so boring with your name. So now you're going to go ahead and you're going to file export that with you. In fact, since it's you and your partner, you would put directors and it would be you and your partner's name. And, make it look nice. And this is what I want here. So like I said, this was a lot of information. I hope you enjoyed it. And then we'll be doing lesson 10. And lesson 10 is the last one we'll be doing before we're done with all these lessons. Bye now.